take a look at the global market highlights and news for March 11th, 2014. Ukraine and Russia on the verge of war as Russia seizes a border outpost. Chinese trade balance and inflation data upset markets. Traders eagerly await the Bank of Japan decision due later in the day. Let's take a quick look at what is happening in the global markets now. European shares declined for the second day running, hit by tensions between Russia and Ukraine and weak economic data from the world's second largest economy, China. Most European indexes swung lower in the afternoon after the Interfax news agency reported Russian troops opened fire with automatic rifles during a takeover of a Ukrainian naval post in Crimea. Trade data showed China's exports in February tumbled 18.1% from a year earlier, raising questions about the health of the country's economy. In the U.S., at the open, the Dow Jones was down 44.89 points, or 0.27% at 16,407.83. Standard & Poor's 500 was down 3.14 points at 1874.90, and the Nasdaq was down 5.25 points at 4330.97. Asian stocks fell sharply and the dollar stepped back from its recent highs as surprisingly weak Chinese trade data rattled investors already on edge over the crisis in Ukraine. Investors greeted the new week in Asia on a cautious note after data issued on Saturday showed China's exports unexpectedly tumbled in February, swaying the trade balance into deficit and adding to fears of a slowdown in the world's second largest economy. The lackluster Chinese data put a damper on risk sentiment, which had been temporarily boosted by stronger than expected U.S. non-farm payrolls out on Friday, showing employers had added 175,000 jobs to their payrolls last month, up from 129,000 new positions in January. In the foreign exchange market, the U.S. dollar dipped 0.1% to 79.683. Against the safe haven yen, the dollar stood at 103.12. The euro remained near recent highs, with both still heartened by the European Central Bank's reluctance last week to take further policy action. The single currency traded at 1.3879, within stricken distance of a 2.5-year peak. The Aussie and the Kiwi traded in the red as Chinese trade data weighed heavily. Moving to the commodities market, gold traded lower for a second straight session after the strong U.S. jobs data eased fears of an economic slowdown and dipped the metal's safe haven appeal, underlining the fact that the crisis in the Ukraine was likely to remain a key theme for the precious metal. In wake of disappointing Chinese data, Brent crude declined 55 cents to 108.45 a barrel, ending 2 straight days of gains. Geopolitical tensions in Ukraine and Libya limited the falls of U.S. crude oil, tumbled to trade near 101. This is Amy Anderson from Option Rally signing off. Follow me on Facebook, and of course, I'm waiting for your like below if you enjoyed today's Market Watch. Have a great week.